Bernie Sanders, yesterday it came out that Bernie Sanders sent a letter to the Center for American Progress. That's the actual name of it, but let's keep it real. It is actually the Center for American Plutocrats. That's really what we're talking about here. So that's how I'll phrase it. Bernie Sanders sent this letter on April 13th to the Center for American Plutocrats. Dear members of the board of the Center of American Progress and CAP Action Fund, I write to express my deep concern and disappointment with the destructive role that the Center for American Progress and its affiliated Action Fund arm are playing in the critical mission to defeat Donald Trump. Great framing. Last week, you published an article on Think Progress criticizing me for my appearance and for the income I earned from writing a book. Then, a day later, you published a video that dishonestly attacked me for hypocrisy in my effort to address income inequality in America. A video that was excitedly discussed on many conservative websites. Sadly, I'm not the only candidate in the 2020 field who has experienced personal attacks from your institution. My friend and colleague Elizabeth Warren was unfairly targeted by a November 2017 article on Think Progress that echoed Donald Trump's bad faith claims that she was being a hypocrite about her ancestry. That attack that was linked on the Drudge Report and immediately immersed her into a rather unhelpful debate. Again, in October 2018, you published an article stating that she was hurting Native American people. That's not all. In February of this year, an article on Think Progress attacked another friend and colleague of mine, Cory Booker. Get better friends. For moving in a progressive direction and joining with me on a prescription drug importation bill. Center for American Progress leader Neera Tanden repeatedly calls for unity while simultaneously maligning my staff and supporters and belittling progressive ideas. I worry that the corporate money CAP is receiving is inordinately and inappropriately influencing the role it's playing in the progressive movement. That's an understatement. I and other Democratic candidates are running campaigns based on principles and ideas and not engaging in mudslinging or personal attacks on each other. Meanwhile, the Center for American Progress is using its resources to smear Senator Booker, Warren, and myself, among others. This is hardly the way to build unity or to win the general election. I will be informing my grassroots supporters, aka, we're coming for you, Neera, of the foregoing concerns that I have about the role CAP is playing. Should your actions evolve in the coming months, I'm happy to consider what kind of partnership we could have. This counterproductive negative campaigning needs to stop. The Democratic primary must be a campaign of ideas, not of bad faith smears. Please help play a constructive role in the effort to defeat Donald Trump. Thank you for your attention to this important matter, and I await your reply. Sincerely, Bernie Sanders. Burn, baby, burn! I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but Jesus, that was good. So before I go on, I want to also remind you, and for you new subscribers, because we got a lot of new subscribers over the weekend. I said this when they named Faiz Shakir, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's the first Muslim to run a campaign, presidential campaign. He used to be with the ACLU, but sources I have when he was named the campaign manager, sources I have kind of in Bernie's world. I don't want to go further because they don't want to be named, said this guy will push Bernie to take the gloves off. And if you remember when I was at the Young Turks, that was my main critique of Bernie Sanders' 2016 campaign. It wasn't policy, but I said, you're showing up to a knife fight. I mean, you're facing the Clinton machine. This is a national, maybe international, political mafia. I mean, let's call it what it is. And you're facing, people coming with machetes, carrying a spoon. And I get it. Bernie Sanders' 2016 campaign was understaffed for the most part and just, treading water in a lot of ways. They were up against the national establishment, the state establishment, each state and their Democratic leaders, the local establishment, the media establishment. They were up against it. But I said to Bernie, Bernie, take off the gloves. But Bernie, at the time, I was told, he views that as negative campaigning. And I said, it's not negative campaigning to go after someone who is intellectually dishonestly smearing you. And there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people knocking on doors for you in 2016. So you're not just being attacked, they are being attacked by these people. If Neera Tanden and the Center for American Progress want to come out today and say, We are a moderate, in their words. We are a democratic and moderate think tank. We believe in business-oriented policy. We believe that there should be a free market, and we embrace capitalism. If they want to basically come out and say we are not progressive, but we are a moderate to right-wing think tank, then we could have a debate on ideas. But if they want to pretend to be progressive, and let's also point out that it's not just Neera Tanden. Center for American Progress is linked at the hip to David Brock, who is the slime of the earth, and by the way, has terrible breath, I should tell you. Secrets from the campaign trail. It was very difficult for me holding a microphone in his face when I was at the Young Turk because his breath was overpowering. Sorry, I know a cheap shot, but I had to say it. So they're all linked. So correct the record, this army of paid trolls. You want to talk about the influence Russian trolls have on our democracy? Go look at Correct the Record, whose coordinated campaigns have gone after Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, Nina Turner, Elizabeth Warren, journalists, including me. Neera Tanden has had a field day at times on me and, used false information about me because what they tried to do is eliminate threats to their order. And their order is rich, wealthy Democrat and Republican donors, banks, fossil fuel companies, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates. This is not a Center for American Progress. This is a Center for American Plutocrats and should be called as such. So you're already seeing, in 2016, you would not see Bernie Sanders do this. So now he has a campaign manager who from day one said, we are in it to win from the start. I don't think Bernie Sanders actually was running in 2016 in the beginning to win. He was running to move things to the left and move Hillary Clinton to the left. I think it was only midway that he was like, oh my God, I could win. This campaign's mentality is, no, we're going to win, and we're going to win from day one. And that's why their strategy is very focused on winning the first 5 states: Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, and California. So Bernie Sanders also sent an email out, sisters and brothers, just like that, our campaign is under attack from the corporate establishment. This week, an organization that is the epitome of the political establishment, Center for American Progress, unleashed and promoted an online attack video against Bernie. And behind the scenes, on the day Bernie introduced his Medicare for All bill, they held a conference call with reporters attacking the bill. That is the Center for American Progress's real goal, trying to stop Medicare for All and our progressive agenda. CAP's leadership has been pretty upfront about their disdain for Bernie and for all of us. They see our political revolution as a threat to their privilege and influence. So today, we have to do something very important. We have to send a message that their attacks will only make our campaign stronger. And we have to do it in the language they understand best. Make a $3 donation to our campaign as a way of saying you've had enough, blah, 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 blah. The Center for American Progress is an organization whose massive annual budget is bankrolled by billionaires and corporate executives that profit from finance, pharmaceutical companies, fossil fuels, and sending American jobs overseas. Last year alone, they took funding from financial giants like Bank of America and Blackstone, whose CEO is chair of Trump's Business Council and is leading Republican donor. Before that, they cashed checks from companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield, Pfizer, Walmart, and defense contractors like General Dynamics and BAE Systems. They also took hundreds of thousands of dollars from the fossil fuel pumping United Arab Emirates while the country was bombing innocent civilians in Yemen, a war Bernie has led the fight to end. The Center for American Progress has deep connections to the economic and political elites who have done so much damage to working families in every zip code. And what we must do today is send a message that we are prepared to fight back against those who are working day and night to defeat our movement. There's another link for the donation. The establishment is panicked because together we are building a campaign that is on its way to winning the Democratic nomination, beating Trump, and transforming America. If we come together to show that we won't tolerate their attacks, organizations like Center for American Progress will think twice before attacking our campaign. So, before I get to Cap's response, I want to point out, if you don't know what he's talking about, Center for American Progress, after it came out that Bernie Sanders is now officially a millionaire, he wasn't a millionaire, but he wrote a best-selling book basically bashing millionaires that got him to $1 million. I know it's hard to have nuance in America, and definitely the media isn't down with nuance because it upsets their narrative. Bernie Sanders being a millionaire has absolutely nothing to do with his message. It doesn't contradict his message, it does nothing to his message. Bernie Sanders has never, ever attacked someone for the pure thing of being a millionaire. He's never said the problem is being a millionaire, period, or being a billionaire, period. The problem is when these millionaires and these billionaires, or shall I say, these millionaires and billionaires, when they rig the political system to keep as much money as possible, aka hoard as much money as possible. When they rig the system so they don't have to pay taxes, when they rig the system so they get their industries deregulated, when they rig the system where cities and states bend over, cut services that working people and the poor need to give them tax subsidies and all sorts of goodies. I'm talking to you, Amazon. I'm talking to you, Walmart. I'm talking to you, fast food industries. When millionaires and billionaires buy our government, which has been like that basically since the late 1970s. That's what Bernie Sanders has always stood for. He doesn't mind millionaires that are willing to pay their fair share. He doesn't mind millionaires that haven't cheated to get ahead. He doesn't mind millionaires that pay their workers a living wage. So this whole thing that Think Progress put out there, they put out a smear video of him because he's now officially a millionaire. I mean, this is something you'd expect from Fox News. But a progressive think tank attacking him because he's a millionaire? Yeah, FDR was filthy rich. He was progressive. He ushered in the New Deal. Jack Kennedy, JFK, who the CIA killed, by the way, he was filthy rich. He wanted to end the military-industrial complex. He wanted to pull out of Vietnam. He wanted to end the Cold War, and that was going to take money away from people in his economic bracket. Okay, so being a millionaire is not the problem. Being a degenerate, tax-dodging, employee-starving millionaire and billionaire is the problem. And Think Progress knows this, but Think Progress is a front group for the corporate democratic establishment. Period, end of story. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.